In the city called Free City, men and women who wear sunglasses are endowed with extraordinary abilities. They have the power to act as they wish, disregarding any convention or rule of society. These individuals, always accompanied by bold hairstyles and outfits that reflect their personalities, become the true rulers of this chaotic environment. Guy, an ordinary citizen of Free City, is 100% a citizen of that place. Despite being surrounded by a constant wave of crimes occurring at a terrifying frequency, he harbors a deep love for his city. Guy, in fact, is an NPC, and every day, his routine is rigidly cyclical. Upon waking, he greets his little aquatic friend, sits at the table, and devours his cereal while watching the headlines of the news. Once he finishes, he heads to the local cafe and, as usual, orders his medium coffee with milk and sugar. During his commute to work, he encounters Buddy, his best friend, and together they witness a robbery happening at a store, an occurrence practically habitual in their lives. Despite being exposed to shocking scenes of violence and crime, Guy considers himself a fulfilled man, believing he has everything he needs, except for one aspect: he dreams of finding true love. However, a seed of doubt permeates his thoughts, leading him to believe he will never find the ideal woman. In the midst of the conversation, the atmosphere becomes tense when, suddenly, two armed robbers invade the bank. Buddy, whose responsibility should be to maintain security at the site, struggles with his instincts and instead of reacting, chooses to lie down next to Guy, waiting for the situation to resolve itself. While they exchange opinions about the type of woman each one seeks, Guy expresses his vision of the perfect woman. Simultaneously, on the other side of Free City, a woman named Molotov, fearless and audacious, finds herself facing a man who claims to have valuable information about a crime she is investigating. However, the anticipation is quickly thwarted when she discovers that the informant does not possess the proof he promised, but only a map revealing the location of a compromising video. During the conversation, she realizes that the man is behaving disrespectfully, and before he can insult her again, Molotov, without hesitation, shoots him. Upon leaving the scene, Guy witnesses the event and is completely paralyzed, feeling that the woman he has just seen is the embodiment of his dreams. As he walks away, he informs Buddy about his revelation and decides that he will approach her. However, as he attempts to cross a railway line, tragedy strikes when he is hit by a train, disappearing abruptly. This event marks a transition, as Millie, the woman behind the Molotov avatar, saves all of her game updates and then disconnects, as she needs to leave since the cafe is about to close. At dawn, Guy wakes up and repeats his daily ritual. He heads to the cafe and, while ordering a cappuccino, notices that everyone around him begins to look at him. The pattern is that most of the patrons are accustomed to ordering simple coffee with milk and sugar, making his new choice quite unusual. Guy, wanting to try something different, is quickly forced to backtrack when he realizes he is about to be the target of unwanted comments, so he reflects again and asserts that it was just a joke. Later, when the robbers make their appearance at the bank, Guy again spots the attractive woman who piqued his interest, crossing the street in front of him. However, a flashback occurs, and he recalls his failed attempt to interact with her the day before, to which the security guard suggests that it is impossible to talk to someone wearing sunglasses. In a moment of impulse, he decides to confront one of the criminals to steal the sunglasses, and after receiving a series of punches, he ends up on the ground, but quickly gets up, using the criminal's weapon against him. Now with the desired accessory, the chances of conversing with the girl Molotov become quite promising. Upon putting them on, something extraordinary happens. Guy begins to perceive the city in a completely different way, with glowing signs indicating paths and opportunities. He is astonished to spot a floating first aid kit, and upon touching it, his health is instantly restored. Recovered from the earlier beating, he strides through the city, exploring his new reality. Further along, a tragic accident has him witness the death of a boy using a jetpack, and he takes the money the boy had accumulated for himself. Keys, an employee of Tsunami, the company that designed Free City, notifies that a player has been eliminated and that their glasses were taken. The curious part is that the eliminator was an NPC. Upon hearing this, Mauser suggests that a hacker may be behind this movement, but Keys is unable to track him. Thus, the duo decides to infiltrate the game to interrogate Guy. Arriving in a police car, they begin to teach Guy how to hack the NPCs in the game. At a crucial moment, Mauser orders Guy to change his skin, but he doesn't understand the language of the pink rabbit. Flustered, he decides to run away, and the duo starts firing at him. In attempting to hide, Guy discovers that the new shoes he is wearing have a special ability, allowing him to jump great distances to escape from his pursuers. Mauser then activates a new feature, and the entire building structure begins to move. At this point, Guy finds himself in a race against time. However, his shoes run out of energy, and with no other option, he leaps off the roof toward a wrecking ball. Failing to hold on, Guy falls but accidentally activates a new ability that generates a protective bubble around him, cushioning his fall. He quickly celebrates his survival, but is then run over by a police vehicle. Intriguingly, even after being eliminated, the number of online players does not change, leaving Keys perplexed. Years before, Keys and Millie had worked on creating an online game titled Life Itself. The purpose was to have no players but rather spectators watching digital characters interact and evolve. Millie, for her part, was responsible for all the artificial intelligence that brought the game to life. Her particular taste is medium coffee with milk and sugar, and these characteristics inspired Keys in the creation of characters in Free City. Upon arriving home, he finds Millie sitting in his chair. He is startled to see his former colleague after so long. She is there with a request. She needs Keys' help to incriminate her boss, Antoine, who would have appropriated the artificial intelligence they developed to implement in Free City. Millie assures him that she has found a hideout within the game where the evidence of this theft should be hidden, but to access this space, Keys' help is essential. However, the young man does not believe Millie's words and defends his boss's innocence, refusing to assist her for fear of jeopardizing his job. The next morning, Guy resolves to do everything differently. He searches the back of his closet for the only casual shirt he has and decides to wear it for the first time. At the end of that day, Millie, controlling her Molotov avatar, sets out to invade the hideout where the evidence is kept. Seeking a way to infiltrate, she is startled by the sudden appearance of Guy, but she quickly takes him down and begins to interrogate him. At that exact moment, the guards are alerted, and a violent exchange of gunfire begins, forcing the couple to take refuge behind a rock to escape the gunfire. Molotov then conjures a portal that transports both to an unexplored corner of the city. Guy has never been there and is amazed to discover that the woman has an impressive collection of weapons and bikes. Viewing Guy as a mere novice in the game, Molotov instructs him on the need to level up, which requires him to get involved in robberies and violence on the streets. This notion horrifies Guy, who quickly asserts that he would never hurt the innocent. Therefore, he decides to take the opposite path and become the great superhero of Free City, elected to combat villains. With a firm commitment to level up, every time Guy is eliminated on a mission, he restarts his journey. Soon, he manages to level up, and his name begins to be reported outside the game, intriguing people eager to discover who the man behind the blue shirt is. Without any connections, many are already his admirers. Upon reaching level 102, Guy returns to work, but Buddy, worried, questions him about where he has been all this time. After spending some time explaining, the robbers make their entrance at the bank again. The local population throws themselves to the ground, but Guy decides to steal a gun from a target and take his glasses. He suggests to Buddy that he use the accessory, but the security guard prefers, once again, not to take risks and continue his repetitive and boring life. Trusting that the NPC has come to life due to the artificial intelligence Millie created, Keys decides to help the girl invade the hideout. Thus, he unlocks the door and locates the video containing the evidence. When Molotov retrieves the file, the alarm goes off, and security guards begin to surround her. The environment becomes hostile as men block the exit. While the mission seems to reach a dead end, Guy, assessing the risky situation, uses his motorcycle to knock down the thugs surrounding the girl. Molotov tries to recover the file while new heavy security guards enter the area. After hearing the young woman conversing with another player, Keys questions who is accompanying her, ensuring that there are no other players there besides those trying to eliminate her. After being saved by Molotov, Guy watches in admiration as she destroys the enemies with her exceptional combat skills. At an unexpected moment, while he takes pride in this new companion, he gets attacked but manages to counterattack and breaks his opponent's arm. Freeing himself from the aggressor, Guy takes his motorcycle and calls for Molotov to join him. Soon, she jumps on the motorcycle, and as he accelerates, Molotov uses her weapons to eliminate the guards attempting to pursue them. They then jump through the access window to the cliff but escape using a glider from Molotov. When Antoine, the owner of Tsunami, appears, he orders his characters in Free City to be updated, intending to create the sequel to Free City 2. His perspective is to capitalize on Guy's success, capturing even more users for the game. After escaping from the hideout unharmed, Guy invites Molotov to see his stash, where he keeps all the items he has accumulated during his adventures. He reports that he followed her advice and, as a result, leveled up. This sparks Molotov's curiosity, prompting her to ask how he managed to progress so quickly. Confused by the inquiries, Guy suggests ice cream and reveals that his favorite flavor is bubblegum. Coincidentally, this was also Millie's favorite flavor, surprising Molotov as she realizes they share similar tastes. As they walk together, Guy dares to confess his feelings for her and asks for permission to kiss her. However, Millie becomes uncomfortable, as she starts to develop feelings for someone whose real name she doesn't know. Simultaneously, Keys checks the codes of the NPCs and makes an alarming discovery: Guy was created from the code that he and Millie developed. Immediately, he heads to Millie's apartment, where she is still at her computer. Meanwhile, Molotov bids farewell to Guy and earns a kiss, leaving Millie surprised. The doorbell rings, and it is Keys at the door. He conveys the truth to Millie, stating that Antoine had stolen the code they created for life itself and implemented it in Free City. However, the good news is that this code still works. Upon hearing that Guy is not a player but rather a programmed algorithm, Millie feels disillusioned. Keys, not understanding why his friend does not celebrate this achievement, soon concludes that she is in love with the man in the blue shirt. With the imminent release of Free City 2, Keys ponders how to prevent this universe from disappearing. The only solution would be to identify the original world that the duo created for life itself, as that way, they could prove that Antoine committed intellectual theft. To achieve this goal, Millie will need to ask for Guy's help. When she reunites with him, she tries to explain that the entire city is merely a game. Regretfully, Molotov reveals that Guy does not exist in the real world, which explains why he has never left Free City. Upon hearing this, he becomes frustrated and decides to leave, running to the seaside, where he throws a stone into the water, discovering that, even the sea, is an illusion in this place. In his despair, he starts yelling to the city, trying to sound the alarm and warn people about the deceptive nature of his existence. At that moment, he is hit by two cars in the middle of the intersection. After recovering from the accident, he visits Buddy's apartment and asks him what he would do if he discovered that he also was not real. The security guard, in a reflective response, says that he wouldn't mind because the simple fact of being there, talking to his friend, is already enough for him. Buddy concludes that even if he doesn't have substance, those moments lived are undoubtedly real. Upon hearing this thought, Guy feels a renewed motivation and asks Buddy for help to invade the security base, aiming to recover the video that Molotov failed to steal previously. They wait for a guard to enter, and upon seeing him, Guy practically asks him to deliver the file. Upon discovering the man in the blue shirt, Revenge Man reveals that he is a big fan and offers his help, handing over the request and starting to yell at his mother while playing, who is vacuuming the floor. Amidst the commotion, the two friends escape. After acquiring the video, Guy rushes to Molotov's hideout and hands her the file. Online, public attention shifts more towards the man in the blue shirt on YouTube than the game itself, leading to a 60% drop in pre-sales of Free City 2. Antoine, furious, demands that Keys get rid of the character. However, the young man responds that this would not be possible since Guy is an NPC who has gained consciousness. Mauser, with a hasty suggestion, proposes to restart the server, turning Guy into any other NPC. When the couple revisits the video, Millie discovers that the original world she and Keys created is hidden somewhere in the game, validating that Antoine stole their code. Guy affirms that he has seen that scenario before, but as he begins to describe where, Mauser activates the server restart, removing all players from Free City and leaving only the avatars behind. While walking through the streets, Guy watches the city crumble before his eyes, and suddenly, the game completely shuts down. When he restarts, he becomes an ordinary NPC again, returning to his monotonous routine, wearing the same clothes, drinking the same coffee, and working in the same place. As he walks through the bustling streets with Buddy, Molotov appears and questions him about the location he saw in the video. However, Guy can no longer recall his experiences and continues his path toward the bank, forgetting what he truly lived. Millie becomes disillusioned and considers giving up her search but changes her mind upon receiving a recording from Keys. The young man reveals that he created Guy to never have the chance to find the woman of his dreams, as Molotov was based on Millie, his closest colleague. Once, during one of his walks, Guy spots the young woman in the city, recognizing her essence. This realization makes him feel truly alive, and from that moment on, he will never be the same again. As a result of this connection, Millie becomes the key to bringing the NPC back to life. Knowing what she must do, Millie, through Molotov, returns to the game and seeks to capture Guy. She takes him to the alley and asks him to put on the glasses. While the police alarm approaches, Millie blows up the cars and, in a brave act, kisses Guy, causing all his memories to return at once. The man, now invigorated, takes the girl to his apartment and shows her the reflection of what they seek in the blinds. In an instant, Millie realizes that Antoine has hidden the universe of life itself on the horizon but let the reflection slip away. If they can reach that course, they will have real evidence to incriminate the businessman. With Key's help, the couple devises a plan to cross the ocean without Antoine being able to send new avatars to attack them. Guy then calls all the citizens on the beach and tries to convince them to abandon their supporting roles, challenging them to take control of their own lives. Guy's speech ignites a spark of enthusiasm in each of them, leading the people to decide that from now on, they will make their own choices, no longer allowing themselves to be manipulated by anyone. That day, when a player attempts to rob the bank, he is surprised to find the place deserted, just like the delinquents who usually roam in search of new victims, as all the NPCs now celebrate together in the cafe. Antoine, realizing what Guy and Molotov are trying to accomplish, orders Mauser to eliminate all characters and cancel the resurrection that would allow them to return to the game. Following orders, the programmer starts annihilating the city in an attempt to eliminate the couple. With the structure of the buildings about to collapse on them, Keys transforms the way the path appears, creating a ramp for them to escape. Antoine, aware of the couple's plans, prepares to unleash a new character that will be introduced only in Free City 2. Even still in development, he believes that Dude, an imposing and muscular figure, will be the only entity capable of stopping them. Guy and Millie wait for Keys to build a bridge that allows them to cross the ocean, but in the meantime, Keys is intercepted by security forces and taken to Antoine's office, where he learns that he will be fired. After a heated argument, the young man presses the button that conjures the bridge. Mauser then appears and informs the businessman about the events. Enraged, Antoine demands that all accounts be closed, and all players be expelled from the game. As a result, Millie's avatar begins to fade away, and Guy feels forced to continue alone. Guided out of the tsunami building, Keys activates the broadcast for everyone to witness Guy's rise, so that when the NPC reaches the universe of life itself, they will all bear witness that Antoine committed a crime by stealing Millie's game codes. However, before Guy can advance in his mission, Dude is activated and knocks him down. Immediately afterward, he initiates a battle against the man in the blue shirt. The giant advances toward him, but Buddy appears, running to aid Guy. Dude, however, easily brushes him aside and turns his attention back to his real target. The audience, apprehensive, cheers fervently for the man in the blue shirt to win the battle as they observe the clashes. Upon defeating his opponent, Dude prepares for the final blow and uses his colossal size to eliminate Guy once and for all. However, what the giant did not expect is that Guy, among the collected items, has a Captain America shield, using it to defend himself. In the meantime, even Chris Evans is surprised. Guy harnesses all the energy from the received blow and returns it with full force against his opponent. But the climax unfolds when Guy, now recovered from the attacks, arms himself with a lightsaber and charges into battle. Amidst this frantic fight, when victory seems certain and Guy opens a portal to leave, Dude crosses another portal for a final attack. However, Buddy, in a heroic act, tosses the glasses to Guy. Instead of using them against adverse calculations, he puts them on Dude, who becomes distracted by the lights and floating objects. Thus, the friends seize the opportunity and cross the bridge while Antoine heads toward the server room. Keys, noticing the businessman's movements, sends a message to Millie, who rushes to Tsunami's headquarters. Wielding an axe, with a single blow, Antoine destroys the servers, and the universe of Free City begins to crumble, taking the characters with it. Crossing the bridge, Guy witnesses his best friend disintegrating, aware that this annihilation will be irreversible, but still affirms that it was the best day of his life. While Antoine dedicates himself to the destruction of the last servers, Guy continues to advance, crossing barriers. He is awed and moved when he encounters a beautiful new world on the horizon. The only preserved servers are those that keep Guy and the citizens of Free City alive. Just when the businessman prepares to exterminate them, Millie appears. With courage, she approaches Antoine, proposing that he grant her what remains of Free City in exchange for allowing her to keep the code and all the company's profits. To Antoine, what truly matters is the profit, and he accepts the proposal, believing he will go unpunished. However, the truth is that he is captured amidst the scandal generated by his theft. Millie, in turn, creates a new game alongside Keys and Mauser, but now applying the idea of life itself in a practical way, allowing players to merely watch characters live their lives, instead of engaging in violent combat. Encouraged by his best friend, Keys invites Millie to go out and celebrate, but the young woman opts to return to the game, asking him to bring back a medium coffee with milk and sugar on his return. When Millie reunites with Guy, she tries to explain that she cannot live eternally within the game. However, distorting her intentions, the NPC expresses support for her decision and claims that he loves her. Guy acknowledges that this feeling is a product of his programming, but recalls that for him to feel this way, someone must have written that programming. This thought leads Millie to an epiphany, and she concludes that Guy was, in fact, a love letter written by Keys for her. Thus, when the young woman realizes this, she runs to the cafe to tell her friend, and as they cross glances, Keys immediately understands what happened and runs to her.